Good morning.
What up?
We have the door open, so there's going to be some background noise. Tommy just finished his workout, so we're letting him recover. But we wanted to come on. We're going to talk about the Murph, some reflections from Murph, some of the upcoming events that we have coming for the rest of the summer, and kind of like expectations and different things. We're also going to be setting up a goal board soon that we want to talk about, that we talked about the last coaches meeting that's on our facility thing. And then we have some questions from Danny, one of our members, that we're going to answer as well. So we'll cover a few different things. But how was your first Murph with us? Did you love it?
Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of people here, which is cool to see. You know, I think everyone that was here for the most part did it, unless they did it on Saturday.
Yeah, we had like 120 people in total, I think. It was a lot of people.
It was just really cool to see everyone just kind of put their fears aside and just do it.
So if you missed that event, don't miss the next one. We do have the Community Cup that's starting next week. Our intention is to run that in class. So we're going to be doing those workouts in class. So if you do want to register through CrossFit, you can. We're not requiring it. I'm not registering personally. As your affiliate owner, I put this on the post on the feed, but to be forward, the money doesn't go to us in any way in the community. And it seems to be not the greatest thing that CrossFit's put out into our space, but we're going to be doing the competition. So if you're somebody who does want to register and be on that leaderboard, by all means, please do. You did have to log all 3 workouts from the open in order to participate. So that's the other reason we're not going to make people register and do things like that, because then half the members couldn't participate.
Yeah.
So do you want to add anything there? All right.
There's 3 workouts. I'm trying to remember what they are off the top of my head. One of them is a 1 rep max front squat, and what's the other one? Front squat is a bench.
Danny said it to me this morning.
It's some type of press, I think.
We'll send them out. We'll post them.
3 workouts. 2 of them are Metcons. 1 of them is a strength. We'll do them 3 days next week. If I had to guess, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But we'll kind of just see what works best for
as we work
majority of the membership.
So that's the Community Cup. Then our next big event is July 12th, which is the mental health event. So I created this event alongside Paulie and Christine Schmidt. Christine, you guys all know, the super fit mom on the leaderboard, and then Paulie, who graces us with his presence every once in a while. But they came from another gym called Pace CrossFit, who was an affiliate owner that I actually connected with in my business ownership journey. He's someone who really helped me in moments that like I was going to close the gym through COVID, and he was like, you can't close. He really kind of pushed me a lot and supported me. And then unfortunately took his life 2 summers ago now. So we created this event in his memory, and all of the money is going that we fundraise will go to Project Patriot. And Project Patriot is creating scholarship funds for law enforcement and veterans. So like even any of our members, you guys can apply for it, to fund for law enforcement and veterans to do CrossFit, essentially. Our gym participates in that program. I donate membership back. And then also NYPD CrossFit is joining us for that event. So we expect it to be really big. We will share the workout at one point on social, but it's the workout we did last year. It's a lot of the movements that Lenny loved, that Paulie created in his memory. So that's the next like big community event. And then August is going to be a little wild. Like I'm really personally not going to be around. That's like my month that I'm kind of like in and out, because we have the CrossFit Games. I'm going on a family vacation to Aruba, but we also have the Dirty Sock Run, which isn't a Babylon CrossFit event, but I am the race director for Babylon Rotary, and I'm on the community service board for Rotary, and so is Joe DeBello, the owner of Hitch and one of our members. So we are going to encourage all the members to participate in that 10K, which is right here in our village as well. But then in September, and I'm only talking about this because so Tommy knows and all the members know, and if there's questions at the whiteboard, we have a 5K. So this is our 3rd year, I think, of the Deb Stellick 5K. Deb Stellick was a member of Babylon CrossFit. For those of you who don't know, Chris Hartigan, who of 5am owned the gym before me, she was a member of Chris's, and then when I bought the gym, she continued to be a member of mine. Deb had cancer. She had a lot of physical like ailments and different things, but even though when she was sick, she was someone that constantly supported the gym, from buying t-shirts to keeping her membership active through COVID, even though she wasn't using it, just to continue to support the small business. And Deb was someone that I always ran local 5Ks with. Like, she was a runner. She loved to run. So, like, if there was, like, a local race, like, she'd be the person I'd go do it with. We used to do the Thanksgiving trot together in Massapequa. And so when she passed, you know, she was someone who, like, not like the top athlete, right? But showed up, always was smiling, was never a disruption in class, a joy to have around. And, like, she just touched a lot of us. And it's a shame that so many people that are now in our space didn't get to meet her, because those of us that did know her will only speak the best of her. But again, we created this 5K in her memory, and all the money raised for that 5K is now a scholarship fund in her name. So if you guys saw that post, that I recently went to Bethpage High School and actually presented the check to the high school kid that got it this year. So after that, we are going to have a pig roast at Babylon CrossFit for members. So we are going to get a pig, we're going to roast it in the parking lot, and then we're going to party inside.
The cops called on us.
I don't think the cops will get called on us. Cops like pigs. Matt?
Yeah.
But yeah. Any questions on the upcoming events, Coach?
No.
So can you answer everything now if anybody asks?
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about the pre-orders.
Okay.
What's the
hats
deal?
Are,
the hats are on the way.
Hats are on the way.
We ordered extra.
We did order extra. The hoodies, we have a small, medium, and a large in retail. If the large is too small, an XL will probably be good. I wear an XL. It's a little bit baggier, but I like my clothes baggier. I don't like tight stuff. So
what size does Cody wear?
He wears a double X. Yeah, Cody is bigger than I am, so he's wearing a double XL. But we are trying to get that order in as soon as possible, but the order has to be more specific to sizing. So if you guys are interested, we are going to post the finished design on Push Press. And then if you could we'll set up a sheet that you could.
The pre-order, when they order the shirts, there's no place for them to put shirt sizes in, right?
I'll probably have to set up 3 different pre-orders, or 4 different, like 1 for each size.
Or is it better for them to process the sale and then you email them for the size versus individual pre-orders?
Yeah. So we're going to do 1 pre-order. If you want one, order one. Once you order one, I'll get a notification. I'll email you personally, and then you let me know what size you want.
And then that's the same thing for the 2 summer shirts, because Dave and Alina emailed me over the weekend about that, and we'll put communication out about that. So it's just the way the Push Press system's set up. We have to set up individual items, which is a lot of work. So rather than do that, you pre-order the item, and then we will email you for your size for both the T-shirts and the hoodies. Anything else?
That's it. Summer, right?
Did we talk nutrition? No. All right. So the nutrition challenge kicks off today, right? If you have not participated or want to participate, damn, I think I deleted Danny's questions.
Were they email?
Were they? Sorry, ADHD. The nutrition. So nutrition challenge starts today. There's, I think, 6 of us in it right now. Again, depending on whatever your goals are, whether it's to put on muscle, lose weight, maybe just reset, or maybe you're someone who has done these constant challenges and diet changes and things have not worked. We want you to participate in this because it's more of trying to change lifestyle than anything and meet you where you're at individually, depending on who we're speaking to. We each have individual things going on, whether we're getting ready for an upcoming race, whether we're getting ready to try and get pregnant, whether we're trying to, I don't know, put on 7 pounds of muscle, like I said, at 5 a.m. I don't know where I got 7 pounds from, but we want you to join. So if you're thinking about it, reach out to us. There's still a few spots open. And if you've already registered and you haven't done your InBody, Tommy's going to be emailing you today to start setting up those appointments. Mm-hmm. We're going to quickly go over, not quickly, but dive into some questions from Danny at 5 a.m. He sent some topics that we wanted to talk about. And I did answer these before. We answered these before, but we didn't release that one podcast. So things as a 20-year-old versus a master athlete, things to consider, watch out for, change, keep the same as we grow older. This is an interesting one and like a loaded question for me because I will have this fight like vocally out loud about CrossFit every day of my life, but CrossFit has changed since it started. The weights have changed. The level of demand has changed overall through the sport and the competition. And I think in the affiliate world, as in like CrossFit, our space, right, Babylon CrossFit, affiliate owners are trying to figure out like what is the right fit for our community. So when we approach Babylon CrossFit, we look at workouts and we think about the community, and that's where we make adjustments and decisions. Now there's sometimes that Tommy and I will debate behind the scenes about load, and I feel that it's too heavy and he'll challenge me and vice versa and the other way around. And we have an open conversation about it. And then it's a matter of us leading the athletes the right way. So as a 20-year-old, again, I've been doing this now for 15 years. And I know, Danny, where this question comes from, you've been doing this for so many years. I think part of the reason I'm so successful in this space is that I know when to dial it back for myself, and I know how to scale to the stimulus right away. Even my own pregnancy journey, right? It wasn't like I did anything special, but I really knew kind of how to dial the workouts in to get my relative intensity to meet my individual goals for my training. And that mattered, right? And then I'm 36 now, and today there's box jumps and my knee's been hurting, and I tried to do step ups, and then it's no, the step ups still hurt. What am I doing? This isn't worth it, right? Tommy's going to turn around and be like, why are you doing this? I can see the pain, and I have to make a decision to take the step away and not do that. And that's I don't need to do box jumps and step ups today. I need to be a functional mother and gym owner for you guys, and I can't hurt my knee. So I think making individual decisions like that as we go. But I think the most successful people in this space know when to individually dial it back for themselves. You can't come in and do 5 to 7 days of full-blown CrossFit intensity.
Yeah.
You should be coming in here 2 to 3 days a week, really sending it to you want to puke your brains out, heart rate in your throat, I want to die. And then the other 2 days, maybe not as intense, right? But knowing when to dial it back, giving yourself that grace of where am I at in my life and why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Versus worrying about the 20-year-old and the master's athlete. I think it's really an individual case basis by the person. Versus trying to compare ourselves to the 20-year-old, because then there's days that we want to be the 20-year-old, right? Yeah. We want to send it. That's, what's your take on that? Anything?
Yeah, I think the older we get, the more, the analogy I use all the time is people always challenge me. They're like, oh, you're so young to be having tight hips. But what I always say is, even though my birth certificate might say that I'm young, in CrossFit years, I'm pretty old. I have a lot of miles on these hips and these knees and these shoulders. So one thing for me that I do more now than I did when I was 23, 24 is we'll call it warm up a little bit more. 2 minutes backward walking on the treadmill every day. It's the only thing that's helped my hips. Back when I was 25, I used to just do workouts without warming up a single rep of anything. And now I have to, if I do that, my hips will be killing me for a week. There was one day a couple of weeks ago where I was kind of time crunched and had to do it without warming up, and my hips were hurting. And so knowing if you got to warm up more, and I think as far as whether to scale or stuff like that, it really just depends on the workout. That's why the stimulus is the most important thing, right? So for example, today's workout is a 2-minute AMRAP with 1 minute of rest, and your score is max box jumps. I said that everyone wants to get 30 seconds or more on the box. If you doing the RX weight is only going to give you 15 seconds on the box, you need to lighten the weight and get more reps on the box jumps, more time on the box. If it's a workout like DT, right, where we want to get the workout done in less than 10 minutes, but you've been doing this for 12 years and you want to see where you're at compared to where you were 12 years ago, in a situation like that, as long as your body and your lower back feel good, I would say go for it. Go RX on DT, see what you could do. But on a workout where you're trying to get max reps in a short sprint period of time, you need to allow yourself the time on that movement. So it's really just nuance based on the workout, based on how you're feeling that day, if there's any injuries that you're dealing with. A lot of things go into that answer.
Yeah, and then that kind of you touched on the next question, scaling less weight versus more weights or more reps, less reps. And again, that's really, it depends on the workout, it depends on the individual, and it depends on goals. And I think the easiest way for me to talk about this is to continue to talk about me and my journey and how I did things like this. But when I wanted to lose weight, when I felt like I wasn't where I wanted to be, I would stick to the lighter barbell to move faster, and not lighter, but lighter for me, right? That way I could move at really high intensity. There were days that I would finish the workout a lot sooner, but I knew I was hitting the intensity to help reach what my goals were. Versus now I'm pretty content with where I'm at, and I'm learning that I'm stronger and I need to push a little bit harder and maybe not cut reps and put more weight on the bar and meet my training where it's at. But that, it really depends on the person. I also think there's something to be said about scaling movements. To go back to today's workout, we have box jumps. Going down to step up scales the intensity. We don't want you scaling. I'd rather you jump on a 45-pound plate than step up on a 20-inch box.
Mm-hmm.
It makes absolutely no sense unless you're injured, okay, or you're in the bracket of 60 to 80 years old and there's a fear or, balance issue. Like, it doesn't make sense to not be jumping. So I think that's like, when we talk about scaling, like scaling is more about than reps and movements, more about load and weight and worrying about intensity too.
And that's another reason why, like,
the running
on days that we do double unders, we'll always give you more single unders than double unders, because doing 60 double unders and doing 60 single unders are not the same thing. Especially if, depending on the movement that they're paired with, if you have to pair double unders and any type of pressing movement, like, your shoulders are shot after doubles, and singles don't tax your shoulders quite as much. So that's why we mess around with different things, different reps, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then Tommy touched on this with the benchmark answer here, scale for benchmarks. Again, depends on the person. Like, what are your goals? And if you want to send it, are you healthy the day that we're doing it? Like, we're always going to tell you to try to go RX so you can judge where you're at, kind of like measurable data, right? Mm-hmm. That's what CrossFit's all about, and we love it for that. There's another question in here that I can really get like super CrossFit nerdy on, and I'm going to, because I don't even know if Tommy knows really the true difference between like the strength and the stamina. But like, this is one of the things I learned like while studying for the L3 is like stamina. I always thought, like, what do you think stamina is?
Stamina is more capacity under load.
Yeah. So like, when you think of a workout, like a good stamina workout in CrossFit is Angie, mm-hmm. which is all body weight, mm-hmm. right? And the reason it's stamina is because it's like the high volume. I don't know what it is, 100, 200, whatever it is, right?
Cindy.
But that's like stamina in CrossFit versus stamina in the strength. Like, it's kind of like you're asking a different question here when building strength versus stamina. So I would think it's strength versus intensity, right? So, and I had this conversation with Renee last week with her back squat or her bench press. It was her bench press. Mm-hmm. That Renee PR'd her bench press. And then when we got to the workout, she's like, I can't do 50% of that or 60% of that in the workout. And I was like, I don't need you to. Yeah. I said, in the strength, it's controlled, it's safe, you're older, right? We're keeping you healthier. It's a controlled setting. So I like that. I know that I can keep you safe there, right? Yeah. Versus the workout, if you have a little bit more of like, I'm going to dial back a little bit more here. That's too heavy. I don't want to get injured because I'm going to be moving fast and under intensity, cutting back the load that way. That makes sense to me as a coach. So again, in a controlled setting, more effort. It makes sense because it's safe. The mechanics are controlled. Yeah. Versus intensity, it's faster. And I know I'm rambling, but does that make sense?
That does. And just to like add on to that, the goal over time is to bridge that gap, right? We don't want to bench 185 for our one rep, but we can't do 95 for 10 reps in a workout. Like, we want to be able to hit that 100%, that one rep, and then be able to hit sub-maximal load 50, 60, 70% for multiple reps in the middle of a workout. So that's one of the bridges that we're looking to gap over our strength cycles, over our mech, everything.
Yeah. Kids CrossFit. Is weightlifting safe for kids if they are doing it with the correct form? Do the benefits outweigh the risk? Yes.
You say, okay,
go. Well, yeah, right? Is that the right answer?
Well, you're saying that the benefits do outweigh the risks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean,
every gym class outside of New York is weightlifting.
Yeah.
Like, let that sit. Like, those reels we see on Instagram, like, of those kids in the gym room lifting, like, that's middle school, elementary school. So again, I think there's something to be said, like, kids lifting safely is the biggest thing. I think that's one thing. And, even on staff here, like, I'll give these guys a hard time when they're doing individual sessions with like one-on-one clients, like, kids, if we can't coach kids, then we shouldn't be able to coach adults. I always say that, like, the best coaches are the kids coaches, because you have to simplify it and make it the easiest. And if they can't understand you, how can we expect a grown adult to understand you? Yeah. And I truly think that I always say that that's what makes Matt one of the strongest coaches, is because he started with the kids. And like, I kind of see that similar with Nikki also. But yeah, weightlifting is safe for kids. Again, there's a time and a place for it. And doing it the right way. I wish they did it more in school. I mean, I do bring Jaden here every week and I deadlift with him. Like, I take a video of it because, like, one day I do hope he wants to do this. And like, we have those videos. Start foundational. Yeah. But again, I'm teaching him like the actual mechanics of it in the right way, just like I would you guys, feet underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, keep your back flat. Even if they're rounded a little bit, is it still safe? Like, yeah, if they're still teaching them mechanically to move with it, is better because I'm keeping them safer. Like when you think about their backpacks, right? It's just like you guys, they're doing the functional movements. So they're lifting this load at home. So meet them where they're at and train them the right way. Then yeah, it absolutely weighs out the risk of it.
Yeah.
But again, I think the risk, what makes it so hard is just like so many people trying to dabble into arenas, like coaching kids and then putting kids in danger, and not having the right expertise to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And a fun hypothetical. If you could do only one CrossFit movement for workouts for the rest of your life, what would you pick and why? Maybe pick one lift, one monostructural movement, and one gymnastics movement. Monostructural is cardio, so you guys know.
Yeah.
Rowing, biking, skiing, running.
Yeah, I would pick power cleans, running, and for the gymnastics movement, I would probably pick either pull-ups or bar muscle-ups. But a wild card, honestly, would be burpees.
I'm just going to pick the work benchmark Kelly.
What is that, wall ball, box jump? Is that what I'm
And running.
And running, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I can't believe I'm picking a wall ball workout.
Okay, if we're picking a benchmark workout, it's a different question.
I do like overhead squats, though.
So Nancy.
I'm really good at that one.
I don't know. I'm going to go with that. Run, power clean, bar muscle up. Wild card burpee. I never thought I would say that, but it's such a good movement that pushes your fitness.
Skin the cats.
Not skin the cats. Not big skin the cats.
All right, that's all we got. Have a great Monday, everybody. We will see you later.